What's happening, everybody? How y'all doing? I either read somewhere or I heard something somewhere where it simply said, "If the fuel to your future is bitterness, you will always reach your destination broken." Right? And what that's basically saying is, when you determine how your future is laid out simply because of quote unquote your hater said that you can't do it, or quote unquote nobody believes you, when you reach where you're going, you will never fully be satisfied because the premise of what you were doing is flawed from the beginning. Nowadays, we live in a society, and I say this all the time, to where people always got to, they always got to have a story. And the more salacious the story, the better it seems, right? Like, I know people that will tell you how bad that they had it growing up or in life, but you know these people in real life, and you like, no, you didn't. like, no, you didn't. Maybe one time in your life, somebody told you that you couldn't do something, right? One person, but you had hundreds other that said that you could. You will key in on that one person, and you will say, okay, yeah, they said that I can't do it. Watch me show them. When that person can care less about how successful you are. Because if you make it to making six figures a year, they're gonna say, well, how come you can't make seven? Meanwhile, they're making, you know what I'm saying, minimum wage. But here you are focusing on the one person that said that you couldn't. So you will never fully feel complete. A lot of times people will say, my parents were such and such way. That's why that gave me motivation to this, that, and the other. No, no, because even though some people have situations like that, I'm a firm believer that God has always put somebody in your life that is for you. The problem is when you're so fixated on quenching that appetite of bitterness, you overlook everybody else. And a lot of times, the people that's placed in your life to give you a good word, to give you encouragement, you don't like how they look. See, that person in your life that really believes in you, you put them in a category because they don't have the fancy car. They don't look like what you think your future is. I remember one time I forget where I was at, and I was walking in, right? And I don't know if it's my face, I don't know, whatever the case may be, right? But people always stop and they talk to me, right? And I mean, anybody that know me can attest to this, right? I can be in the store and somebody would literally come up and be like, hey, just start a conversation. And I remember it was one of the days I just wasn't feeling it, right? Like, and I came in, I had my hood on. I was like, I just don't want nobody to talk to me. I'm just coming, you know what I'm saying, in and out. And during this time, this was right when my grandmother had passed, right? So I'm going through everything emotionally. I just didn't want to talk to anybody. I just wanted to come in the store and do what I had to do. And when I went in there, this older lady came to me. And, she just sparked up a small conversation. I think it was on the price of produce or something like that, right? And and everything in me wanted to tell her to shut up, right? Like, for real, because I wanted to just feel bad. So as she was talking to me, I start putting up a wall because no, I wanted to feel bad. Like, I wanted to be in my feelings at that point in time, right? But the more and more she began to talk, it seemed like the more and more like I kind of like that feeling went away. And then next thing you know, we in there talking for 15 minutes. And she began to explain to me how she had just lost her husband. I think one of her kids had already passed, whatever, and she was like, her other child was on the other side, you know what I'm saying, in California or something like that. And she was just lonely. And in that moment, I was lonely because I just lost my grandmother. So this older lady who, you know what I'm saying, I'm assuming she was a grandmother herself, starts speaking to me. Now, in that moment, if I would have, you know what I'm saying, submitted to my own personal feelings, I missed my chance because guess what? That lady talking to me did something to my spirit because I just lost my grandmother. And me talking to her did something to her spirit because she was lonely. I see this lady all the time, every time I go into the store, and we stop and we talk because I don't know what she's going through. She don't know what I'm going through. You know what I'm saying? So in life, You can do life one or two ways. Well, there's many different ways, but the biggest thing is you can get stuck in a rut and that becomes your identity. Or you can look at a situation that's maybe even challenging and look at it and say, okay, God put me here for a reason. And a lot of times we give the devil too much credit about why we're going through stuff. It ain't the devil. I said this before, it's your decisions. You don't have money for the rent because you didn't went out all last week. That ain't got nothing to do with the devil, right? Nothing to do with the devil. You just are not responsible. You in a relationship and this person is just not for you. They're going upside your head, whatever the case may be, right? But 50 people told you that that wasn't the person. But guess what? You leaned on your own understanding and here you are. They ain't got nothing to do with the devil. Stop giving the devil all of this credit. Nothing to do with the devil. You know, you come into a situation and somebody's talking about you and this, that, and the other, and then here you go, you fire off a Facebook post, right? Blah, 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 blah. That has nothing to do with the devil. That has everything to do with you. Everything to do with you. So my message this morning is take a moment, step back, stop focusing on the people who said that you couldn't. Because I'm going to be honest with you. The people that talk about the haters the most, the quote unquote haters the most, probably got 2 or 3 people. Right? Like, this is just being honest. They probably got 2 or 3 people and they address those 2 to 3 people every day. Every day they say, oh man, you know, keep on watching me. I'm going to give you more to hate on. Words have power. Words have power. See, when you go out of your way to appease the haters, that says more about you. You should know you better than anybody. I had a conversation, right? And somebody was telling me what somebody was saying about me. And I had to stop him like, listen, you ain't got to tell me that. I know me. There's nothing that nobody can tell me that I don't know about me. And I'm not defending nothing. 2025 and beyond, I am not defending anything. I know who I am. And everybody that knows me knows who I am. So when somebody comes and they lying and this, that, and the other, and you entertaining it, that's cool. You've made my decision that I got to X you right on out my life, because I don't have the capacity to be focused on the naysayers. I got too many people in my life that's for me. You have too many people in your life that's for you. And even if it's only 2 is better than none. 2 is better than none. The greatest, though, is you having it in you. This society is a herd society. They're going this way. That's why, like, when you read something in the blogs, right? People are so invested in believing the negative first because it gives them something to talk about. And a lot of times people don't care. They just want to see somebody doing worse than them. It can be the most craziest headline and people would just run with it because it makes them feel better to see somebody else struggling. There's no middle ground. Okay, this person did this, that, and that. See, I knew it, blah, 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 blah. How does that make you feel better unless something is going on inside of you? That makes no sense to me. How could you want to see somebody struggling? Because guess what? Karma is a real thing, but we can't control how karma comes. See, a lot of times we want to control how somebody did you wrong, somebody lied on you. You want that karma to come back in that way. Nuh-uh. Step back. You keep doing you. You stay in line for them blessings that you can receive them blessings, and let everything else work its own self out.